Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how to install a 1.17 Minecraft server. This will be a little bit different from a regular server installation, and you'll see why shortly. First thing you're going to do is go ahead and type cmd into your Windows search and open the command prompt. You're then going to want to type in java space dash version, and this is going to tell you what the version of Java you have is like. You're looking for 64-bit server, that's necessary for all, and 16.0.1 or later. This is what's going to let you run a 1.17 server because it requires a newer version of Java, one that's not normally installed. So if you already have this, then you don't need to follow along with this next part, and you can go to the timestamp that you can see in the description. What you're going to need to do is install a version of Java that's a developmental version. If you go to this link, you're going to look for the Windows x64 installer and download the one I've just clicked here. Now we just have to wait for this to download, and then we can pick up where we left off. Now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and drag it to the desktop and then run the file. After running it, you should get a pop-up. You're going to have to click yes on that pop-up in order for it to work. And you should see an installation window that looks a bit like this. You're just going to click next through all of these menus and wait for it to install. If you already have this version installed, it'll give you an error at the beginning, and you can just click yes to that and it'll go ahead and install it anyway. Now we can delete this because we don't need it anymore. You're going to go ahead and make a new folder, and you can call it anything you like, but I'm going to call it server. And you're going to go to the second link in the description, which will open up the official Minecraft website with the 1.17 server download. You're going to click on that link and copy this purple text right here because we're going to need it later. And once that's done downloading, you can go ahead and click keep because it is a safe file and drag it onto your desktop. You're going to want to put that in that folder you just made. I'm going to rename mine because I already have this file on my computer, so it added a 1. And now you're just going to go ahead and run that file to generate some other files that you'll need later. Once your folder looks like this, you can go ahead and open the eula.txt and type in true. Now go ahead and save it. You're going to go ahead and make a new text document and name it start. The name isn't important, just make sure it's something you can remember. And you're going to go ahead and paste in that purple text from earlier. Now this next part's really important. You're going to go here, and that will be the maximum amount of RAM the server can use, the minimum amount of RAM the server can use, and the name of the file that runs the server. Ours is named server.jar, so we can go ahead and name that to server.jar, right there. Remember to include the .jar. The naming scheme is a little bit confusing here if you're new to computers, but that M stands for megabytes, and it's talking about the RAM. In my case, I'm going to be using 6 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm going to put in 6G. Make sure it's capitalized. Now you're going to click Save As, go to the type, and change to All Files, and remember to name it, whatever you're going to name it, .bat, which is very important. That allows you to run the file. Now you can go ahead and close this and delete your text file. You can click Edit on that file if you want to make changes later. So now we're going to go ahead and run it. You should see a window just like this, and you'll see that your server is currently loading. Now that the server's up, there's two commands you need to know right away. The first one is save all, which has a dash in the middle, and this lets you save everything, which is a good thing to do intermittently. And the next one you need to know is stop. By just typing stop, it'll close out of the server. Now we're going to port forward the server. In order to get to this menu, you'll have to put in an IP address in your URL. I'll show you how to get this momentarily. So now what I'm going to show you how to do is how to get your default gateway and access your router. The first thing you're going to want to do is click on the Windows icon and type in CMD to open your command prompt. Once there, you're going to type in ipconfig just like you did earlier. And you're going to locate your default gateway and copy that number. Open a new tab and go ahead and paste that in. Once you're here, your login information will most likely either be admin and admin for the username and password, or admin and password, respectively. In my case, it's cussadmin and password, but you can very easily find this default login by looking it up online. Once you're in, you're going to have a lot of tabs to go through, but if you just keep clicking through them, you should eventually locate the port forwarding section. From here, we can pick up, and now you're ready to port forward. Now that you're here, what you're going to want to do is find where you can add a port forward or a rule exception. It may be called different things. And what you're going to do is add a name. It should be called application name or exception name or something like that. And what you're going to want to do is just type in something you can remember easily, like Minecraft server, MC server, something along those lines. For the protocol, you're going to go ahead and set that to TCP and UDP. It might be called both. And for your port range, you're going to want to put in 25565. Anywhere you see ports or port range, you want to put that in. You might have to put a dash to indicate that it's a range, or you might just be able to put 1. It's different on every router. The input methods can be different. You should be easily able to find a guide for your router. You're going to go ahead and put in your IPv4 that we found earlier in your local IP address and anywhere else that it says IP address. Once that's done, you shouldn't have to worry about anything else. You can go ahead and hit apply. Most routers will have you save changes once you've done this, so make sure that you do that. Now you're going to go ahead and run your server again just to make sure everything's working. It's going to make sure that port's open. And if you want your friends to be able to join, you're going to look up what's my IP and find your public IP address right here. Now you want to be careful with this number because it can reveal your actual location, so only give it to people that you trust. You may have noticed that I used 25566 for my port forward, but that's simply because I already have another server running. You should only use that number if you are deliberately trying to use a different port than 25565. And unless you're running multiple servers, you don't need to worry about that. And now that that's all set up, your server is ready to go and your friends can join. Some quick side notes. There's a good chance you have a dynamic IP, which means that every time you restart your computer or overnight, that number will change. So you'll have to keep updating this. Fortunately, there is a way to correct this by setting a fixed IP or a static IP. I'll be covering that in another video as it's a very simple process. But just remember that if people are having trouble connecting, to just check up on that regularly. This server is meant to be a way for you to play with your friends that doesn't use Hamashi through LAN, which is the other popular method for using Minecraft Java servers. For more information on setting up a more permanent server, I'll have some videos coming out in a little bit. But this is just the bare bones basics. You want to play with your friends right now, this video should get you going. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you, make sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions at all, just go ahead and leave a comment and I will answer you.